Heads up, this is about the current early access alpha build of We Happy Few. Just keep in mind that everything you see is subject to change and we may visit this game again later on. I feel like I've been talking about a lot of survival games lately. I guess it's not really surprising given how prevalent the genre is nowadays, especially in the indie scene, but man, it feels like a lot of survival games. We Happy Few is one such game, created by Compulsion Games, a 20-person studio based in Montreal. Previously, they made Contrast, and now they've taken a step into the limelight with their newest project that was kickstarted back in 2015 and recently launched onto Steam's early access platform. The game's picked up a lot of traction recently due to its unique presentation and a couple of twists that it adds to the survival formula. Not only do you have to worry about food, water, and general medical business, but the inhabitants of the city that you find yourself in are all doped up beyond belief in a very dark, almost Orwellian society of people high off their rockers on what's basically a kind of ecstasy. This drug, known as joy, masks the dreary side of the world that they're in and makes the users crazy happy, filling their vision with hallucinations and bright colors. Anyone who doesn't take their joy is summarily removed from the city, and that's where the game begins for now. I gotta say that I think that We Happy Few has a lot of potential, much like many of the games that I tell you all about, but right now it falls pretty flat. Now it is an alpha and the devs are regularly patching it, but it's to be expected that the game's not all there. What is there is, for the most part, so surprisingly generic that I find it hard not to be a bit dismayed. That said, there are some parts of this game that stand out, and they're why I maintain some kind of hope for the final product. The overall atmosphere of the game is really impressive. Everything is just so dreary and depressing, the writing is so interesting, and the way the prologue plays out is really intriguing. The final version of the game is supposed to have something like 3 playable characters, each with their own story. And based on the first bit of story that we have so far, I think that there's a lot of promise here. I love how the entire game is one big commentary on our own modern day society. It really is something straight out of George Orwell's own visions when he was writing 1984. A society brainwashed by media and the governing bodies, practically bullied and drugged into complacency. The character that you play as in the current build even works for a department of the media that redacts and removes sad information from newspapers. While the world is procedurally generated, it's always peppered with points of interest to carry you forward through the story. These points are usually events, side quests, or places that you need to find and visit for your main quest. Some of the points of interest that I've visited have been really cool, others have been kinda lackluster, but overall the impression that I get from them is pretty good and pretty promising. In all honesty, I think based on what I've seen so far that maybe procedurally generated worlds were the wrong way to go for We Happy Few. When an area is handcrafted and placed somewhere, it's much more interesting and fun to check out than the rest of the computer-created bits of the world. It really does make me wish for a handcrafted world to play in and explore for the story, and then a procedurally generated world on the side. The survival aspects of the game are solid enough. You get tired a bit too often for my taste, it always feels like you need to be searching for a bed, but crafting is pretty interesting in a MacGyver-y kind of way. There's no real point in trying to sort your inventory because it'll all just get jumbled up again anyways, and managing it quickly becomes a pain. And that's no good, as you'll often end up struggling to find what you're looking for in your pockets in an emergency. Apart from that, I think most of the little problems the game has will get ironed out as development progresses. Already, a few of the complaints I had when I first started playing this have been completely resolved. I'm gonna be keeping a close eye on this one, and I think that you should do the same. I'd say for We Happy Few, you should only get it at this stage in its development if you actually plan on giving feedback to the devs and using early access as it was designed to be used. You can find it on Steam for about 30 bucks. Like I said, if any of this sounds interesting to you and you are up for actually giving feedback and helping development, then you should check this one out. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Indie Bytes. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please remember to leave a like and subscribe for more stuff like this. Be sure to check out the other content that we put out on this channel, and remember to drop me a line here on Twitter or through email with any game recommendations that you've got. You can find all that stuff down in the description below. I'll see you next time. Bye!